So the UFC have dropped a bit of a bombshell on us as fans as they sign with Paramount Plus to bring us the new UFC content. And Dana White, as you can see in that photo, is a very, very fucking happy man. Bit of a bombshell. I do Paramount out of all of them, but hey, we're here now. We are fucking here now. It's literally quite similar, but there's like one big thing us as fans are going to look forward to, and that's no pay-per-views. But there is a bit of a catch, and we'll get into that. But it's pretty much the same. 13 fucking, pay-per-view. Well, what were numbered events this year? So basically, numbered events is the same thing as a pay-per-view. So roughly once a month, one every, there'll be one event every two as well. So that's pretty cool. They're expanding the Apex as well, which is pretty fucking sweet. They're going to be getting like 10,000 people to the Apex, which is really fucking good. I think this deal is a massive win. Okay. There is one thing I want to. I don't know if I necessarily believe the UFC in saying that they ditched the pay per view model in favor of the fans. I don't buy that bullshit 1%. Okay. The stats are there. If you look at the stats, the pay per views have really declined over the last year. And I feel like the UFC used this as a nice like gateway to say like, oh, we're getting rid of pay-per-views. Everyone like us again. But I do kind of feel like a part of it was the fact that pay-per-views are just dying. And it was like, in America, it was like $80. I'm a European fan. So this deal doesn't actually make like a massive amount of, joy to me. But if you're an American fan and you were paying 80 quid per event, I saw somewhere it cost you over $1,000 to be a UFC fan. But that's just ridiculous. No fan should have to pay $1,000 to do that. But anyway, it says historic. There's one thing I want to talk about here, and George St. Pierre brought it up briefly. Okay, is this deal fighter friendly? As we all know, well, let me scroll down so you can kind of see what he said here. There we go. George St. Pierre kind of said like, "Oh, this deal's really cool, but what happens to the big stars like that are gonna get pay-per-view points? What happens to them? Do they just kind of lose out on money? Do they even what do you do with these pay-per-view stars that fucking are guaranteed to get pay-per-view points? Like Anili Tapori is a massive name and would sell a shit ton of pay-per-views if you haven't heard. What happens to him? Does he get less money? Does he get more money because there's it's a $7.7 billion deal over the span of 7 years? Do fighters get more money because of how much money the UFC is getting? Because they're going to lose a good amount of revenue from no pay-per-views. But they're also going to get more revenue because more people are going to watch events. Because it's like $12 a month for Paramount. So all your UFC events are kind of like covered in that. Except for 4, apparently. I saw Dana White say that there's going to be 4 pay-per-views per year. Now, we can kind of guess who's going to be on that. Ilia Topuria, Islam Makhachev, Hamzat Chimaev if he gets the belt, Tom Aspinall versus whoever, maybe. That kind of a star. Alex Pereira, maybe. Those kind of names are going to be the names that, they might have to... how, like, the Zone do their, multi-subscription. And then, like, Canelo versus Crawford might be a pay-per-view fight. I'm not sure if the Zone do that anymore, but they did do that at one stage. Where their big names like Canelo were like the pay-per-view names, where you'd have to pay extra to go see them. I could see the UFC doing something like that for like an Ilia Topuria. But I don't know if this deal is definitely not fighter friendly. I can guarantee you that. If you're a champion and you were like getting massive amount of money off pay-per-view points, you better get one in before the end of the year. You better get one in before Pantoja, Marab, all you boys better fight again. I know Marab's booked, but Pantoja, you better get fucking in there before December, my bro, because that money's gonna go fast if you don't get it. But like, listen, I'm happy enough for this deal. As like I said, I'm a European MMA fan, so it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. I'm TNT Sport. You can probably guess where I'm from. But apart from that, it's still a good deal. Like, it's still a very good deal. Dana White's gonna glaze it, as much as he cares. I don't know. Is the show money? Is the show money gonna get buffed up? Because I feel like a lot of fighters. See, we have this thing in the UFC where a lot of people fight for money, but a lot of people, people say they're a prize fighter first. But then you have people like Arman Sarukian who are born a billionaire and then it's just becoming a world champion. So money's not the incentive for a lot of people. Are we going to see the show money get raised to like maybe, it's 12 and 12 right now if you're on a basic contract and like let's say it's your first fight in the UFC, you're on a 12 and 12. Are we going to see that become an 18 and 18, a 20 and 20? What way is it going to work? Are fighters going to get more money? Like, are the shown win money going to go up? Obviously, like Taporia and all probably wouldn't be on like a shown win. They're probably just going to get their money, straight, because they're champions. Is Ilya just going to get more money now because he's not guaranteed any pay per view points? Does he get pay per view points? These are the questions probably get in the next couple of days. So it's pretty cool to know that we'll get some kind of clarity there. But as regards what I think and what I care about for fighter pay, I don't really give a fuck. I'll be real, I really don't care about fighter pay. Because fighters get paid and then kind of sit out. You know what I mean? So, do I really want to see you get more money and see you fight less? No. Do I want to see you get more money and fight more? Yes. But you never take that option, fighters. So I really don't give a fuck about fighter pay. I don't, because most fighters are better off fighting. It's better for me as a fan to see you not get more money because you're going to fight more. But if I see you get millions per fight, I'm never going to see you, bro. So I don't care. I'm sorry. I know that probably makes me a bad guy, but I'd rather be honest. I don't give a fuck, man. I really don't, because I want to see you fight. I don't give a fuck if you get paid. Obviously, I want to see fighters do well, but if it just means I'm going to see you less, I want to see you get less money, because I want to see you fight. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And if anyone disagrees with that, like, you're just a fucking fanny, honestly. Like, I really just think people get paid and then they kind of just vanish off. They just don't fight as much. Colby Covington's a prime example. Hamzat Shemaev. That's why I really like Arman Sarukian. Never has to fight again. He never has to do anything in his entire life ever again. But is literally wanting to fight Ilia Topuria. Is literally climbing the ranks to be a world champion. Ilia's, some fighters vanish. And some fighters thrive. Some fighters get more money and then they see the money and they're like, I want more of this shit. So they keep going. They fight more often because they want more money. That's the kind of shit I like. But as regards to the deal, it's pretty fucking sweet. American fans are going to be absolutely chuffed with this one, I must say. But like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.